Thank you. All right. Welcome to the post-game news conference for Game 10. Game 10, of the Credit Union 1 West Coast Conference Men's Basketball Championship. We have Gonzaga, who will be making their 29th, conference championship appearance, which is a NCAA record. But we will go ahead and start with an opening statement from head coach Mark Few.
Hey, no, I was really proud of how our guys came out. Obviously, these games are hard when we know we're going to continue to play after this, but you're playing a team that doesn't have that opportunity, so you're facing a sense of desperation on their end that, can sometimes have where they're just beating you to balls and out hustling you, and I didn't think that was the case tonight. Our guys were really, really dialed in. I think that's out of the great respect they have for Wayne and also Oregon State, having played him once already.
All right, just a reminder for those on Zoom to use the raised hand function, and we'll be able to call on you to unmute. Let's take it to questions for the student athletes, Graham, Ike, and Adam Miller. Go ahead, Theo.
For Ace, obviously the last couple months you guys have been able to kind of set the tone with the defense. What do you think of the first 10 to 12 minutes tonight and what you guys were able to accomplish on that end?
It was great. I think our best ability is our team when we're communicating, when we have tight huddles, when we're following the game plan and we're holding each other accountable. And that was a big emphasis. After that last game. So I think we did an amazing job on that side and sticking to the game plan and, just trying to get guys out there to do the opposite of their strengths. And, that's a kudos to the coaches and the players for doing a great job of listening.
Graham, can you talk about what Coach said earlier, which is that sometimes it can be hard to get motivated when you know you're heading on anyway, but it looked like you guys were definitely ready to play tonight.
I don't know. I think it shows the character of this team. I don't think it's really tough for us to get motivated. We enjoy going out there and winning together and staying connected. It was a great matchup for us, a great opportunity for us to just get better and continue to take that next step, especially in the month of March.
For both of you, just after the two games that you missed, what's it like having Jalen back, especially on the defensive end?
On both ends, he's special, man. He's phenomenal. The way he gets us into action, the way that he just keeps the ball moving on the offensive end is special. And then on the defensive end, he's handsy. He's everywhere. He's hitting his coverages. He's talking to us. He's pulling us together for huddles. We've definitely missed his energy and his leadership on the floor, and I'm glad to have him back.
Yeah, he's different, man. He's an amazing player. And he leads in ways that you guys don't even see. And, what he does for this team is you can't replace it. So he's just amazing.
Graham, what would it mean to get a not only outright a regular season title, but also a West Coast Conference championship and just keep the momentum rolling?
Yeah, it'll mean a lot, especially to this team, our senior group. And then just the legacy of Gonzaga towards the WCC, I think it would definitely mean a lot.
Next question for the student athletes. Okay. Any questions? All right, student athletes, you're free to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions for Coach? Okay.
Coach, you had a pretty prolonged hug with Wayne at the end there. Just what were you saying to him? And I know that he called you after your mom died. So just what does he mean to you?
Oh no, he's the best, man. He's a phenomenal coach. I've been able to see it firsthand over the years. And I just told him, hey, you got one of our best defensive efforts of the year, and that was just based on our massive respect for you. And it was the way our staff approached it and the way the guys, listened and took the scout to heart. Again, was just based on the respect I have for him. Great human being and a great coach.
Yeah, obviously the 23 minutes from Jalen after 2 games off. What did you see from him, and how confident were you that he was going to be able to go tonight?
He actually had some treatment that finally worked this week, and he was moving around really, really well, the best it's been in probably a month, at least. And so we were encouraged by that. He only had 2 practices. I think Friday and Saturday, we were able to kind of get him up and going. So, that was kind of, and once you put him out there, I mean, he's going to do what Jalen does. So I thought he was very effective. The last 2 games he played, he's so tough. He was trying to play, but I mean, he was probably dragging his leg around at probably 30%, and it wasn't Jalen. So we were just like, listen, we got to just take some days off here and see if we can get this thing right. So, yeah, hopefully, again, we'll have a little bit of a break after the one tomorrow, and hopefully we can really get some ground there to get him back, because he still doesn't have that burst or the athleticism that he's had, but he's getting there.
Hey, Coach. Brendan Potts, World Exposure Report. You're going into the WCC championship. This is your last WCC championship with the move to the Pac-12. Is there any sense of a bittersweet feeling knowing that it's going to be your last WCC championship?
Not really. Just, I mean, times are so competitive. You're just trying to keep your momentum going. Obviously, heading into the NCAA tournament, it'd be great to win the last tournament here. We've had so many great wins down here and good times celebrating after the wins. But be honest with you, when you're in this situation, the biggest thing I want to get out of here is healthy, fully healthy. But at the same time, hey, there's 2 really, really good teams out there playing. We'll have to play great to get it done tomorrow. But yeah, it's kind of just I just want to win.
Just a reminder for those on
Pretty
Zoom.
simple.
A reminder for those on Zoom to use the raise hand function, and we'll be able to unmute. Go ahead.
Coach, can you just talk about the decision to leave Jalen in the game after he picked up his 4th foul with about 5 minutes left, and kind of what he showed you after that point, especially taking that charge with about 2 minutes left?
Yeah, no, he's just as the guys, intimated there to you. He's a really, really smart player. He does a lot of stuff for us. So we were just trying to, we were having a hard time closing those guys out. They were getting to the free throw line and making some shots, and we kind of dried up a little bit on the offensive end. So, I mean, I trust him so much. We just left him out there. So it was an easy decision.
Coach, when it comes to March, sometimes you don't necessarily know what you're going to get from your youth, but for the most part, Davis looked pretty unafraid tonight. How do you contextualize his growth over the second half of this season?
Davis Vogel? Yeah. No, Davis has done a great job of just staying with it, keeping his best attribute is he's got great confidence. He's not afraid of any moment, and I think he's done a nice job with that. We've been really challenging him on the defensive end and on the glass. That's where early on I think people were excited about, the scoring, but the defense and the rebounding were lacking. And but he's really done a nice job of kind of dialing those up a little bit. He's a talent, and he's going to be a heck of a player for us down the road.
Go ahead in the back.
Coach, 29 straight title games. I know it's kind of like almost become the norm, but how do you get a win in one of these kind of games, and do you have to tell the team that, or is it just another game?
We have to tell
like the importance of this, like that we can get a big seed, or is it just another game?
Yeah, I mean, no, listen, it's a competitive group, and they know it's March, and you want to win in March, and they'd love to. I don't think this. Well, I mean, I guess we didn't win it. It's been a while since we've won both, or not a while, maybe 2 years or something, both the conference championship and the tournament championship. So I think maybe Graham and his group would like that. But yeah, it's a competitive group. We want to keep winning. We want to keep our momentum kind of on the upswing, and But again, we're ultimately going to be based on what happens or judged on what happens in the NCAA tournament. So we're all fully aware of that.
Coach, Noah mentioned it, and you guys no strangers to tomorrow night's game. Any pregame rituals or anything like that happens here in Vegas leading up to tomorrow's game or throughout the week? Anything special?
No, just keep everybody out of the casinos and just been pretty good with that, at least as far as I know. So maybe they're keeping that away from me. But no, nothing special down here, just same routine. Yeah.
Any more questions? Thank you, Coach.
Thanks. Yep.
All right. Welcome to the post-game news conference for game 11, or 10, sorry, of the Credit Union 1 West Coast Conference Men's Basketball Championship. We have Oregon State with head coach Wayne Tinkle and student athletes Jorge Diaz-Graham and Josiah Lake II. We'll go ahead and start with an opening statement from Coach.
Oh, man, we were up against a brutal force tonight. They just ton of praise to them for their physicality defensively, the way they slowed us down in the first half with that three-quarter court pressure. They did a lot of good things. Obviously, we had some guys that didn't have their best. Part of that might have just been fatigue catching up. I think a lot of it was more the way Gonzaga played. They just, man, they were everywhere. They played very, very inspired, and they're a really good team, and they wore us out. But kept challenging our guys in the timeouts the last 10 minutes to just keep battling. And I was proud of the effort fighting all the way to the end. It was tough. You look at the stats, the fast break points, points in the paint. But we cut that thing to 9, and unfortunately gave them a layup, lob, didn't protect the rim, and I think they had a little similar spurt in the first half after we kind of got it going a little bit, where turnover layup, bad shot layup. But I'm super proud of this group, super proud of the fight that they showed. And they showed the heart of a Beaver, what being a Beaver is all about, and what our programs have always been: toughness, discipline, selflessness. And they showed that all the way to the end, so I couldn't be more proud.
We'll go ahead and start with questions for the student athletes. A reminder that those on Zoom to use the raised hand function will be able to unmute you. Go ahead, James.
Jorge, just what is the feeling right now? Because you have a good individual game, and there are not too many guys who are going to have +4 efficiencies and 9-point losses to that team. How do you feel when you have a good night like that, but it means the season coming to an end?
Just sad because we didn't get the job done. I think the worst part is just like knowing that there's no one more game, and we don't have one more practice, and just I love these guys, and I enjoy every single minute I've been with them, and that being over now, it hurts more than anything I did tonight. Like, it doesn't matter. We lost. So,
JoJo, tough shooting night for the whole team as a whole, one of the tougher nights on the season. What was it about them defensively, particularly from behind the arc, but really just about anywhere tonight?
Well, yeah, they just came out super aggressive. I think it kind of pushed us out of our comfort zone a little bit. I don't really have too much to say. I think we just got to hit those shots. I think we were a little fatigued, but other than that, I'm just super proud of the guys, how we battled to the end. Even though the shots weren't falling, we never really dropped our heads. We always stayed in it every time out. We had guys trying to boost each other up. So, sometimes games like this happen. I wish it wasn't this game because, like Jorge said, it kind of hurts that there's not going to be, one more game to kind of, get this back. But just motivation for all of us going forward.
Josiah, Coach Tinkle gave you a chance when a lot of other people didn't coming out of high school. Just knowing that you just played your last game for him, how does that feel?
Just super grateful for him as a person and a mentor for me. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything else to say. I just want to thank him and the rest of the coaching staff for taking a chance on me when other schools passed me up. Gave it my all. I think this whole team gave it their all. We just came up a little short tonight, and couldn't ask for a better guy to take me under his wing and really just trust me throughout this whole process.
For each of you, what have these last 11 days felt like when you have the time to reflect? It's not a one-day thing, because you do finish fourth, and for weeks that was like the goal. And 3 teams in this league could be going to the tournament, and with all the turnover and injuries and all the things, like, how did you define success before 11 days ago? And how have you reflected on what success has meant in light of what's happened over the last 11 days?
I think for me, the success was we just turned the season around. These 11 days, I was just thinking how we were 2 months ago and how we came together and figured stuff out, and we played the best basketball we played all season. So I think I was just proud of the guys because through all the adversity, the injuries, at some point we didn't have any guards. Like, I was playing the 3. And somehow we still stayed together. We won games and we finished fourth, as you said. So I think it's just like pride, what I felt, seeing the stands and seeing 3 great teams on top of us and then us. I just can't ask for anything else.
I think it just shows everyone's character on the team. It could have been easy for us to, kind of throw in the towel and focus on, the next year or whatever. But I think we all kind of came together and kind of like realized that we don't know how many more games we have left, so let's try and make the most of it, win every game we can. And I think that's why, we found a spark the other night, is because we just really came together and, just wanted to, get one more day together, one more day. And couldn't get it done tonight, like I said, but, I think that's something that, we had a mindset for the last couple weeks, because, the first couple of days were definitely emotional, but, we came to practice hard every single day. And the coaching staff, pushed us every single day, even though, they were going through some personal emotions as well.
What was really cool is how it started, maybe like 5 weeks ago. And Jorge came up to visit, and he was just kind of tired of the one good game, one bad game as a team. And we just said, be a leader, meet with your guys. And so he called JoJo, he called Dez, was very honest and forthright in some criticism towards those 2 and what he thought he needed more of from them, what we needed more of from them. And that was a real rally, It was the halfway point. I was being asked whether I was done. I was being asked if, my health. Was I ready for the next phase? And you know me, I said, I'm going to battle to the bitter end. And, I said we're going to win at least 6 games in league the second half. We had a chance to win 7, but we won 6. And then what hit 11 days ago hit, and we all had some choices to make. And again, mine was all about, would they be better without me, knowing that I'm not going to be back? and maybe rallying for each other and for the assistant coaches, and I've said this, or, with me there and the response, Coach lead us till the end is going to be something that's really near and dear to my heart, the way, they had our backs. We're always talking about, as coaches, we have their backs, and the way they reciprocated was pretty cool. It started a ways back. I know this is a tough one. I think our last 4 losses, 2 to Gonzaga, remind me, Joe, Santa Clara, and then, Seattle U, they were really good, we weren't. So, but we had a lot of wins there. And we got back-to-back winning seasons. I think since, I'm not gonna go there, but we've had some good success. And we told the guys in the locker room just now, the decisions that were made is not a reflection on them. They had a winning season. Okay, when we got there in 2014, I think they had 2 or 3 in 20-some years. And so this wasn't a reflection on them. And the decision was made whenever it was made, however long ago. And so they need to know that. And I'm just very thankful for the commitment, again, not to me, not to the staff, to us. And that was really, really cool to see. Sad to see it come to an end.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Student athletes, you're free to go. Thank you.
Thank you. Good job, boys.
We'll go ahead with questions for the coach
Love you
up
guys.
front.
Shared a long embrace there with Mark.
That's it.
You shared a long embrace there with Mark at the end. Just
Yeah.
what were you saying to each other there?
We had a really good conversation a week or so ago. He was very complimentary about our team, and we knew after their performance at St. Mary's, that they would shake off whatever rust they might have had, and they've dealt with so much with injuries and everything. But he said that basically his guys played with the level of intensity he hadn't seen in a while, and it was out of respect for our program, basically, the way we play and how we do things. And said he wasn't surprised we pushed him to the end. So, he and I go back a ways, and just I have so much respect for what he's done. And it's been 9 straight Sweet 16s. I mean, holy smokes. He's done an incredible job, but we all know that. And there was some personal stuff there, but that was the gist of it, which is pretty cool of him to say.
Hey, Coach. Brendan Potts, World Exposure Report. You've been a part of some really great teams over the course of your coaching career with Oregon State. How does this team kind of compare to those teams, knowing that they were willing to lay their life down on the line over the last 7 days, especially?
It doesn't surprise us. It's such a special feeling, just because of the character, the room, and that's what we always kind of recruit first and foremost. And we weren't complete. We didn't have everybody engaged and locked in because of all the crap going on. But the fact that last night and tonight we've found guys that we're going to just commit and fight until the end through all the adversity. And I'm not just talking about the last 11 days. We lost Kez, I think, for 7 games in the preseason, Yak for 8, Johan and all that. But we just kept battling. We lost Malcolm way back. But they just kept battling for each other together. And that's what our programs are all about, being selfless, making it about the group, nothing about the individual. And that was my lesson to him in the locker room after when we were sharing some tears was the one thing we want them to take from us and how we do our deal is when you choose to do something, whatever it is, instrument, maybe a new language, maybe a new relationship, you got to give it everything you got. You got to be passionate about it. And if you can't be, find something else. And that's really our motivation, like I said, as a coaching staff, because when you can really get those things figured out, then that's when you get them figured out on the court. And those guys learned some valuable lessons through all of what you just mentioned, and that makes it a success for us as a staff. And it's a pretty cool thing to see. So those guys are all going to be very, very successful in their next venture in hoops, and then what they do beyond that.
One game-specific question, Wayne, not to make it that personalized, but when Jorge is +4 in 33 minutes and Alavi is -13 in the other 6, what was it that they just clearly attacked when you put him in and had that success?
Yeah, no, that's like we had guys on fumes. And Jorge made a really long stretch that he played in the second half, and he had to come out. And so we talked, who do we go with? You know, we're talking about a guy that, in the lobby, that started a lot of games for us. Started a lot of games. We only had one timeout left, I think, at the time, to try to get him the rest. And we knew it was going to be an in and out deal. It just was unfortunate when we took that time to get him a little rest. They got 2 buckets in a row at the rim. And I mean, we got to play our guys, we got to rest our guys. And that's when I said earlier, you know, we need more guys to step up, and it's nothing against, you know, Olavi, because he's done a lot of really good things for us. We did it in the first half. We had a couple turnovers that led to layups. It's really hard this time of year to just stick to like 5-man, 6-man rotation. So, and it's a fair question. And that was a tough stretch. We had 2 of them, one in the first, one in the second. But I think it's just more about fatigue, focus, the moment, young guys than anything else. But yeah, it was unfortunate that we had those 2 little stretches.
And then like yesterday, albeit maybe with a little bit less emotion, to send off the way you do that you have for 12 years running. What is the feeling like, and when do thoughts go to what is next?
Yeah, it's bittersweet. I mean, you've heard me say it. Oregon State's done so much for me and my family. The memories, obviously, last a lifetime. And then the accomplishments of our players, academically, athletically, far outweigh any of the nonsense that, you know, I might be tempted to harbor. The people we've met, you know, we had opportunities to go elsewhere from Montana and from Oregon State, but the authenticity of the fan base, of the institution, the supporters, like that's what had us. We thought it was a great fit for us. We thought we were a great fit. I hope moving forward they can keep with that. And you know, I'd say thanks to all those that believe. I got a ton more emails today. I just keep being Oregon State. It'll always be a special place. I personally probably need to take a little bit of time, and we'll see what's out there. But I know there's a lot of places that appreciate what we do, how we do it, and what it leads to. So I'm not done by a long shot.
Question in the back.
I saw you praying during the national anthem. I'm sure you do that every single game, but I was just curious if there was anything different about this one today.
Yeah, we were playing Gonzaga. I maybe said a whole decade of the rosary. No, I just, you know, I always give thanks. I give thanks to the family that I've been blessed to be a part of, you know, as a youngster growing up with my mom and dad, my siblings, as youngest of 11 kids. Mom always said they did it till they got it right. Dad said, no, we quit once we had an ugly one. But no, and then thanks just for the opportunity to coach a game I love and try to influence some incredible kids. You know, and it's just something I've always done. And then I try to catch the last few bars of the anthem, but you don't want to hear me sing that out loud. But that's basically it, and I'm so appreciative. No, I'm a believer. We talked about that in the locker room yesterday, about how it's really, whether it's a God, a creator, whatever, to just believe in a higher power and how that can help center you and keep you focused. You hear so much about mental health these days with these youngsters, with all they've got pulling at them. So it's nice that you know, we have a staff that reflects that and lives that, and hopefully it's an influence on our guys.
Any more questions? Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate all you guys. We'll be back. Go Beavs.